Hi guys, Jason is here and we're doing another set of goal diagram sessions. And today our focus is to get deeper into the different modalities of our lives. And modality, it's like a perspective and it's also a set of needs. And it happens so that we evolve throughout our lives. And practically, when we evolve, our capacities evolve. And also, what evolves is our attitude. Our attitude evolves. And I'm trying to suppose and propose here set of three diagrams. And those three diagrams correspond to the pyramids of needs. And when we are deep into goal setting, what we are tending to do is practically focus on the material goals. And most of us, we just write down goals. They may be smart goals or unsmart goals or whatever goals, but we are like getting very much used to writing down material and very physical goals that are related to my abs, or they are related to my whatever, like expenditure or my financial deposits or investments, or I need residual income this year. And I'm trying to point out something here, that this acronym is very much related to the Maslow pyramid. So it's a hierarchy of needs. And practically what this Maslow thing is telling us is that at the base, at the foundation of the pyramid of every human being is the need and the expression of life focus on the material and the physical. We say, okay, we need the shelter, we need the security, we need the finances, we need the homes, the houses, the apartments, the residence. And if we have that, we tend to shift to emotional and sexual needs and to intimacy, to relationship. And it seems that if we're not really okay with our material matters, we cannot really enjoy or like celebrate a great relationship. And you know that it's not the truth. So it may be so, but also it may not be so. So I'm supposing here, or this is like a hypothesis and I'm just sharing with you. If you like, you can accept it or just throw it away, whatever. But it's the modality of the young. When we're young, we're like very much experiencing material and physical stuff, like bodily stuff, because our brain changes, our hormones, our system is so much focused on progeny, on our idea of creation. And normally, we tend to identify with our sex. So it's like maturity and reaching sexual maturity and sexual growth, and we very much relate and identify with our physical selves. So it seems that, okay, this matrix, this hierarchical pyramid is also an idea, or this is an agenda, this is a schedule, this is a diagram related to the multi-layered beings that we are. So it's like, it's not that these are my needs, but also this is corresponding to who I am, because I have the material needs self, and I have the material layer, but also have the relationship, the emotional layer of me. And practically everybody is having that. But when we are young, we focus on the material things and then on the emotional things. But they are related, they are interconnected, but we cannot really say that, okay, my emotions are very much dependent on my material or my financial state. Otherwise, why would I have a great sexual relationship or a great love affair or, affectionate, loving, great connection with somebody in the same period, I'm kind of broke, So this is not the idea. We can be broke and we can be happy, and we can relate to so many souls out there, or to a single soul, whatever your case is. But okay, let's go back to this acronym. M stands for material. And material, it also means physical, so it relates to our body. And it also relates to our finances. So material is also financial, and it's physical. So all our goals that are related to our material layer, let's say, they're connected and they're focused on our bodies, on our homes, on our real estates. They're focused on our investments and deposits and career. But then there comes the emotional part. And we can build up on the emotional part. Like, I don't know, in your part of the world, but in my part of the world, like in Eastern Europe, people are most focused on, they say, we have to have our good career, we have to have our substantial, significant income, and then we can build up a home. We can build a home, we can build a relationship, we can marry, right? Because if I don't have the money, if I don't have the proper salary or whatever wage, I cannot really marry my partner. So we are like sharing expenses, but we're out of our security. And so many of us, we reach our 30s, or some of us, we reach our 40s, and we never reach security. We never reach enough of finance, enough of a wage or a salary. So we don't really have to put this emotional things and our emotional life, let's say, or our love life. Here is our love life and our happiness. It shouldn't be, I would say, a function of our material matters, of our financial affairs, because otherwise we are risking never to be happy, or we're risking never to have a good relationship with somebody that we respect or that we love. And then there comes after the emotional level, there comes the intellectual or the mental level. So there's the intellectual and the material. They're related, and this is the mental level also, they say. So we have our material needs, we have our emotional needs, we have our mental needs. And what is the mental need? Why are we watching television all the time? Why are we on the social media? Why are we texting everybody? Why are we watching movies, watching TV shows? Why are we listening to music all the time? Why are we book readers? Because we need food for thought. And they also say it's not only food for the brain, for the mind, but it's also for the heart. And yeah, the mental food is also heart food, and it's also soul food. So we come to this idea and this concept that we need to feed our intellect. We need to grow. We need not only the education so that we are available for society or for the industry or whatever, that IT sector or that banking sector we're in, but we need this feeding because we are intellectual beings, because we have the intellectual self, we have the intellectual layer. And yes, we need goals on that, because otherwise it just happens. It happens. Somebody says, okay, you're now assigned to a new project, or a new project is assigned to you. There is the new team, and you have a new skill set to acquire. There is your mentor, you're the mentee, there are your mentees. So you have to grow because you're a part of our company or our project. But no, that's not the case. That's like a push-down approach. No, the idea is that every single one of us, we have those needs because these are our layers. And then there comes the spirit level. And most of us, we just kind of build up. So we try to have the material life, the financial life. We are trying to have the home life, like to build a home, then to have a good relationship, to be happy, to have maybe some of us, we turn our partnership with our loved one, girlfriend, boyfriend, we create our marriage life. And then we create our kids, and we create our families, like extended families. They're about to follow us and to share life with us for maybe 10 or 20 years. And they're going to grow up not only physically, but they're going to grow emotionally and intellectually with us. So we're expanding, and the idea of us expands, and the idea of what our world is expands. So it's not only our career now, it's not only our income now, it's not only our parent or parental family or our partner family, but now there comes also the larger family. There are also our friends and those who follow us, or the people who are in our spiritual groups or support groups. Normally, most of us, we don't reach to that level before our 30s. Most of us, we go to that level 30s or 40s, or even after our kids left home for the university and for their personal career. And when they start to build their home, we kind of tend to turn to the spiritual side of us. But we should say that this spiritual thing is there and it's always been there. So some of us, with time and as we mature, we tend to pay more attention to the emotional, intellectual part and to the spiritual part. And you don't have to be a yogi to dedicate some time and commit some time to your spiritual goals. Practically, most of the yogis I know, and these are hundreds of yogis, they don't have spiritual goals. They're also practicing yoga on the physical level. So somebody has to point your attention to the spiritual part of you, to the spiritual side of you, and to the spiritual side of life. Because you need the goals on the spirit part of you. Because you don't have to leave it to chance. So, okay, this is the SIEM diagram. And the idea is that it's like a matrix, it's like a table, and we need to fill in because it's part of our integrity. Because if we don't have our goals, it doesn't mean that we don't have them, but they're like subconscious, they're not on the surface consciousness level, so they're like left to chance. So, okay, this is like the upper part of me is left to my destiny. The lower part of me, I'm working on it, you know. So I'm working on my body, I'm working on my tummy, I'm working on whatever. You get the point. So it's part of integrity. And when we are setting goals, we have to have our integrity in the goals. Why? Because we focus our energy, and it's our mental energy, and it's our passionate energy, it's our heart-loving, compassionate energy, and our goals need that, because if we don't have the spirit, if we don't have the intellectual capacity, and if they're not aligned, our material efforts will manifest, but that will turn into disappointing experience, or even for some of us into accidents and disaster finally. So maybe you've been there, I've been there, I know that there are some parts missing, so I have to work on that. And yeah, what for the young is like a natural growth experience. I would say it's also a matter of association. And the old person is looking at things normally when we are becoming grandparents or great-grandparents. We just get the other idea, the other perspective of the world. It seems like now the center of our intentions is the spirituality, is the wisdom. And we say, no, spirit is there, contribution is there. I want to live for the benefit of others. I want to contribute, I want to give, I want to share. My life is not for me now. My life is for the larger me, it's for my friends, it's for my city, it's for my kids. And you know that old people, they say my kids to everyone practically. So everybody's their kids. So the wise, they tend to address the world in a different manner. They say, first is the spirit, then is the intellect. Is the wisdom. It's not only the mind, but it's also the heart. It's also the experience, because it's not about old age, but it's about acquiring experience and working on the ego and working on our illusions and getting rid of everything that is not needed, that is bad, getting rid of all our weaknesses. And yeah, then there comes emotions. And yeah, you know, the wiser and the older people are, they tend to command their emotions better. But only if they train that, okay? So it's not about old age, it's about wisdom, it's about training the character, it's about building up the character, it's about building up the skills. And most of us, it's like a natural process in the school of life or in the school of career. But yeah, we have to plan on that. And then there comes the material thing. And if you ask a great banker or a financial mogul or an IT expert or a venture capitalist or angel investor or a super guru or a mentor, whoever that person is, they will tell you, no, my dear son, this is the start. This is the start. It's the spirit. I'm not making money for the money. I am the spirit that is expressing joyfully or intellectually or in a virtuous manner their creativity, their spirit, their life, vital force, or their passion for achievement or for contribution. And the larger their public is, the larger the audience, the larger the society or the nation or the global family they're addressing, the larger and the more influential their wisdom is. So if you are dedicated to larger scale problems and the larger scale solutions, you tend to acquire more wisdom. And then your manifesting abilities, manifesting skills, they just find their way through your weaknesses and most of all through your lack of information and instruction. Because why are we failing our goals? First of all, because we lack the information. We lack the information and we lack the skills. We lack the instruction. Why? Somebody has to teach us. We need instructions, but we lack them. Practically the very beginning, and the very beginning could be at your, I don't know, maybe 50th jubilee, or it could be in your late 60s, but you may miss information and you haven't met the person that will mentor you. Okay? The skills, maybe they are there, the information is there, but there should be a person who is mentoring you, some coach, some trainer. Okay? So now, when you're old, first the spiritual, then the intellectual, then the emotional, and then the material. Anyway, this is like an ideal case. It's like the ideal perspective, or it can be some mixture of all those. And most of us, they're not really in a perfect balance. So they're not a perfect ratio like 20, 20, 20, 20. No, it's like, different perspectives, different sets, could be different focus, and some areas could be dominant, and others could be underdeveloped, whatever. So let's say this is young age, and then this is old age. But we also can say that Western society, Western modern society is focused on that perspective. They are running after material possessions. We are running after technical progress. We are running after technical maturity. And we are running after money, after career, after market domination, after sales, after results. Well, this is not of the West, but this is more or less related to the East. So the old world, they had this perspective that we all were a spiritual being. Every one of us is a spiritual being, and we are a collection of spiritual beings, and we are a spiritual humankind, and this is a spiritual planet, and all things material, all buildings, all cities are a manifestation of spirit, and they were like a celebration of our higher emotions and of our oneness and of our ideas of building the ideal world. You could say the utopia. Because who would build a new world without their utopia? Can you build something great without ideals? Can you not be a dreamer? And if you look into the biographies of the great ones, you know they all were idealists, right? So the founders, they also, they are always actually focused on their ideals, in their perfect utopia world, okay? And they're trying to manifest it, to let it go, to destroy all the obstacles and all the extortions and all the twisting, okay? So they find the guys, they find the way. Now, final diagram. This is the master diagram. And we would say that it's like circles. They're the concentric circles. And in the center, there is the spirit. If you lack that, you lack your core. You're out of connection. And so many of us, in their late 40s and 50s and 60s, they report, I lost myself. And then comes from spirit, there comes the mind, from mind comes emotion, and from emotion, from passion, comes our material belongings and acquirements and achievement. So please make this table and just fill in one goal, two, second, third goal, spirit level, intellect level, emotional level, and material level. And yeah, you can include in the material, the physical, and the financial. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope you have enjoyed great material and spiritual health this year, and we'll go on together. 100%. We will succeed.